Hi everyone, I'm Katie. Welcome to my channel Chords Records. I'm doing the Vinyl Tag 2025. Thanks Edwin for taking over the custodian of this fantastic initiative the beginning of every year to help new creators. I've only been doing it for 6 months, so this will be my first annual one. So it's a really good time to get on board in the vinyl community to do the vinyl tag. Gives you access to all sorts of albums in your collection too. So without further ado, I'm going to answer all the questions. The first one, best purchase of 2024, old or new? All right, already I'm going to cheat a bit and just have two. I couldn't decide. The first one is this very limited edition Split Enz True Colours. I collect all the variations of the True Colours album from Split Enz. I'm half Australian, half New Zealander. This one was a very rare release that they put out to commemorate sales in excess of 30,000 units in New Zealand, and it was numbered to 2,500 at the time. So 1980, really hard to get. It comes up on Discogs maybe once every 3 or 4 years. I found one in beautiful condition, so that was a real find for me. So happy with that. And then the other one, I was very lucky to win an auction that Mike at the Ingroove had in May this year, and I won Joni Mitchell's Blue test pressing of an unreleased recording from Classic Records. Absolutely brilliant. It was never released. So absolutely a really rare, very special treat. I'm a Joni Mitchell completist, so to have this unreleased Blue by Joni Mitchell that Classic Recordings were going to put out is just incredible. And the date there is June the 30th, 2004. Right. The second one, 50 years later, best album of 1974. Well, continuing with the theme of Joni Mitchell, how can you go past Court and Spark? What a brilliant album. Yeah, a lot of people saying 1974, it was kind of not a great year, and it was past that, those classic 1971, 72 years, you know, of the change in rock and roll. But this album is such a beautiful, beautiful album. I mean, it's helped me, Free Man in Paris, Down to You, Just Like This Train, Raised on Rubber. I mean, it's just such a brilliant album. I've got this original Australian release, Gatefold. Love that album. Okay, an album that defines a genre. Well, disco, Saturday Night Fever, brilliant. Fun fact about this Australian release, all the Australian releases, if you find them now, have got that weird, something's happened with the packaging and it's all bubbled, and it happened on Australian releases, so it's almost impossible to find it without it. But the version I've got is just mint. The actual vinyl is beautiful. So that defines a disco genre. Best band from your home country. Come on. AC/DC, what more can I say? Best band in the whole world, really. But best band from Australia, AC/DC. Love some Akadaka. All right, an artist you miss dearly. This one might surprise you. And I thought about this, and I could have done, Jeff Buckley or Nick Drake, but I chose Karen Carpenter. This beautiful album, A Song for You, that gorgeous cover. She died way too young. She was such a genius drummer and singer. I absolutely love her. And the Carpenters, you can pick them up in the sort of $2 bin, and their music is so brilliant. And a fun fact about this album, A Song for You, I mean, there's some classic songs on here, including Top of the World is track 2. Is it one of their most famous songs? But they have this strange intermission at the end of it. At the end of side 1, for 22 seconds, it's this really weird choral Baroque piece. And the lines are, we'll be back right after this break. We're off to the bathroom. Really strange. But, starting off with Leon Russell's A Song for You, such a beautiful album. And she's such a beautiful singer. So Karen Carpenter. Next, favourite live album, Elton John, live in Australia. I've shown this before. This is such a great recording. It's beautifully recorded. The orchestrations of Paul Buckmaster, second to none, obviously. So this is Elton John live in Australia with the Melbourne Symphony Orchestra. If you can get this, I would highly recommend it if you like Elton John. Your partner just dumped you. What album are you putting on? I'm putting on Tom Waits' Heart of Saturday Night. I mean, look at him. He looks like he's just been dumped, or potentially thinking about picking up that woman. Not sure. But it's such a dreary, beautiful album, Heart of Saturday Night. I love this album. I've had it for years. So that would be what I put on. I was so excited about this one, best sounding drums on an album, and I could think of a lot, but I went with my absolute first instinct, the very first thing I thought of, and it was the opening few bars of Steve Winwood's Back in the High Life. If you have not listened to this for a while, listen to it in the context of best sounding drums on an album. Side 1, track 1, Back in the Higher Love, opens with the incredible drums of John Robinson, who is widely considered to be the most recorded session drummer in the world. Quincy Jones, drummer, performed on Michael Jackson's Off the Wall. But he opens this, and for the first few bars it's him, and then the congos come in. And the congos are Carol Steele, who, when I looked her up, she'd performed on a Laura Nyro album, on some Laura Nyro tracks. So look at my video from a few weeks ago on Laura Nyro. So it's all connected. I always say that, the threads of music, it's beautiful. So there we go, best drums on a song. Okay, and a favourite artist who is a member of 2 or more bands. Well, if you know me well enough, you know I'm a massive fan of the Americana artist Brandi Carlile. So Brandi Carlile, probably her best album, By the Way I Forgive You, is also a member of the supergroup The Highwomen. There are so many I could have chosen, but I chose that. Beatles or Stones? Beatles every day for me. I love the Stones, but I love the Beatles twice as much. Here's their second album, 1963, with the Beatles. Okay, you found a bag of weed. What are you going to listen to? Well, that would be interesting because it's illegal in Australia, so I'll say no more. But if I found a bag of weed, I'd be listening to this beautiful album, Van Morrison, Astral Weeks. Gorgeous, gorgeous album. I'm so happy to have picked this up recently after years of looking for it in Australia. One of my favourite albums of Van Morrison. It's so beautiful. And so, yes. An album from the 1980s you still listen to. Look, I chose this absolutely beautiful album by the Indigo Girls, self-titled. This came out in 1989, has their classic Closer to Fine on it. But the whole album is just so beautiful. Kid Fears, Prince of Darkness. I mean, it's just... The more I listen to this album over the years, the more I uncover. I cannot get enough of this album, so I still listen to this day. An artist whose political stance has soured you. Look, like many, I try not to get too involved in the political stance of artists unless it's absolutely atrocious. Like, to each their own, sort of. I am quite political myself, so I do steer away from some really sort of dodgy kind of, I guess, anti-vaxxers and you know, those kind of artists. However, the music's the music, you know, and if they're really great, like Ted Nugent is, I will still listen. This is the Amboy Dukes. And I could even turn a blind eye to Ted Nugent's political views, but it's all the other stuff which is just gross. If you don't know, look it up. But he's not the greatest guy in the world, that's for sure. Music's still great. Okay, show a favourite record label. I am showing the fantastic Australian record label started by Michael Gudinski, Mushroom Records. absolutely iconic Aussie record label. Split Enz released all their early albums in Australia on Mushroom. So that is one of my favourite record labels. All right, a run of singles. Look, I chose, these are all my original singles. I chose U2's Rattle and Hum. I loved that album when it came out. And I bought all the singles I could off it, including the very New Zealand only, very rare One Tree Hill. I grew up in New Zealand, and looking out my bedroom window, I could see One Tree Hill. This was dedicated to their New Zealand Maori roadie who unfortunately died in a motorcycle accident, and they released this single New Zealand only as a tribute to him. So that's my run of 3 singles, probably 4. I've even got a few 12 inches. So that is that. Right, almost through. I love this. And a RSD purchase that you actually consistently listen to. A really good point. It made me realize I don't listen to a lot. There's all this kind of FOMO about getting the RSD records, and how many do we actually truly really listen to? Well, I can tell you I listened to this. This was 2020, I think it came out. Fleetwood Mac, The Alternative Rumours, and this is brilliant. Some of these alternate takes, like The Chain, I almost prefer to the original. It's groovy and almost more acoustic. There's a couple of not, sort of filler songs on here, but honestly, this album is so great. Pick it up if you can. It was limited to 16,000, so they're sort of readily available. So I listen to that all the time. Okay, you can be reincarnated as any artist, dead or alive. Who's it going to be? I didn't have to think about this for too long. Patti Smith, I think she's obviously still alive. She is just, I think, just one of the coolest female artists that's ever sort of existed in modern era. I just absolutely adore her. I have all her albums, buy all her books. I've even got an original Polaroid of her taken by Robert Mapplethorpe, her a dear friend from the 70s and 80s. So, in fact, that photo was taken by him. So this particular version, if you're sort of deep into the vinyl community, you might recognize, is from the Voice of America collection that's being sold off at the moment by Dylan from Noble Records. And I picked up this. This was from this amazing collection that was acquired from the Voice of America radio program. It's got all the kind of radio notes on there, and on the back, and on the label, everywhere you look. It's just really special, and it came with Dylan put a little sticker in there, so you can kind of keep the integrity of the collection alive. So Patti Smith, I just absolutely think she's brilliant in all aspects. An amazing poet, an amazing woman, a punk rocker. Absolutely love her. Best 3 lines in a song. And the best thing you've ever done for me is to help me take my life less seriously. It's only life after all. And that's from the Indigo Girls. Closer to Fine. All right, an album you never tire of. So I chose this one. I could put this on morning, noon, or night, any day of the week, and just absolutely love it. I never get tired of it. This is my Analog Productions version they put out a couple of years ago. Absolutely beautiful. So John Coltrane with McCoy Tyner, Jim Garrison, and Elvin Jones. Oh, it's such a beautiful recording. So thank you, everyone. Now, the final question is share your favourite VC channel. Now, I don't, no way am I going to name a favourite. I don't like that question, to be honest. I'm not going to pick favourites. I love so many. So I'm going to put a few in the comments below, but I will call out that there aren't that many women in the vinyl community, and I wish there were. So if you are a woman in the vinyl community and you've got to the end of this, please pop your channel in the comments below and I will subscribe to you. I think we should all support each other, but I really value the support of the entire vinyl community. So I love Melinda Murphy. I'm giving you a shout out because you were the first female vinyl community person that I started watching many years ago. So thank you for being inspiring all these years. I really like the young girl Emma from 8 Vinyl Low. I think she's fantastic and consistent and very funny and loves her music. So give her a shout out. And Monique from Money Muse. She was the first person that gave me a shout out, so I really appreciate it. Thank you, Monica. And so I really love this very hip kind of punk metal husband and wife channel. Stacey is the wife. They're called Vinyl Reckoning. Really interesting choices. I like how they present. I like how they do it together. So that's just a really fantastic channel to check out. And then finally, I'm going to give a shout out to a New Zealand vinyl community member, James Buttery. So James, the reason I love his channel is because I've been watching vinyl community for years and I've watched his channel for many years and I've never once recognized an album he's shown. He has got such alternative tastes to mine, very avant-garde, noise, free jazz type albums. So interesting, and he's so knowledgeable and passionate about it. I just love watching him talk about them. So check him out. His channel is called Buttery Digs. His name's James Buttery. I'll link all them below. All right, thanks very much, Edwin, and for the Vinyl Tag 2025, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.